Today's lesson is called What We Can Learn from Riddles. Hi everyone, my name is Jeff.
And I'm Roger. Today we're going to talk about riddles. A good time to talk about riddles would be in the wintertime when Lantern Festival is coming around. I guess I should say that would be early spring because during Lantern Festival, of course, you've got the guessing riddle contest. But today we are going to talk about riddles in the month of September and what we can learn from riddles.
The guessing riddle contest? I've been in Taiwan for quite some time, but I've never heard of this particular custom. Please fill me in. Let me know. Tell me all about this tradition or custom.
Well, the good people of Taiwan know all about this tradition. Of course, during Lantern Festival or Yuan Xiaojie, oftentimes they have these contests where people have to guess riddles. They give you a clue or something, and then you have to try to figure out exactly what it is. We've got some simple riddles in English, like, for example, what's high in the middle and round on both ends? Well, the answer is
Ohio.
Ohio, the state of Ohio. You know, an O,
yeah.
It's round at the beginning, at the end, and the word high is in the middle. You get the idea.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that riddle for many, many years. I had no idea that that was the one that was going to come to your mind. I thought you were going to say a different riddle that people usually have on hand for moments like these, but you know what? I'm going to hold off on that until the next part of our article. Let's go ahead and get started and talk about the riddles that we have to discuss for today. Let's go ahead and start the first part of our lesson on what we can learn from riddles. Don't go away, guys.
What we can learn from riddles. Racking your brain over a riddle is a great way to improve your thinking power. However, you can get a lot more out of a riddle than a mental workout. By forcing you to see difficult problems from a fresh point of view, riddles offer important life lessons too. Take a look at a few brain teasers.
大家好，首先我们看到的单字是 workout， 这个字当作名词，代表锻炼或是体育训练的意思。所以我们可以说 Lester was very tired after his workout and wanted to take a nap. Lester 在训练完后很疲累，所以想要小睡一下。除此之外，我们也可以说 The workout I get every day helps me stay healthy and fit. 我每天做的健身运动让我保持健康并维持身材。下一个我们看到的单字是名词 brain teaser， 代表动脑谜题或是脑筋急转弯的意思。例如May loves this fun brain teaser published on the newspaper. May 喜欢这份报纸刊登的有趣脑筋急转弯。又或者我们可以说 This brain teaser is for kids, so it is very easy. 这则脑筋急转弯是设计给小朋友的，所以非常简单。
Okay, let's talk about the first part of today's lesson, everybody. Are you ready? So here is the title. It says, What we can learn from riddles. That's not a question here, even though we are beginning this sentence with a question word, what. If you want to make this a question, you could say, What can we learn from riddles? Well, we're going to try to tell you what we can learn from riddles.
Yeah, what? What is it that we can learn from riddles? That would be the question. Okay, if you want to know what you could learn from riddles, okay, that's the question you would ask. And, well, someone could answer you by saying, well, this is what you can learn from riddles. And that's what our article is going to be focusing on. Anyways, now that we've got the title cleared up, let's go ahead and get started. Let's start reading. The first sentence of our lesson says, racking your brain over a riddle is a great way to improve your thinking power. Yes, I've heard this is true. Very often, people who are good with figuring out the answers to riddles are often very smart people. In fact, I would say that the type of person that can easily figure out riddles would be very clever to me. That would be the word that I would use to describe that type of person. Now, other people are wise, some people are very deeply intelligent, but sometimes people are super clever, okay? They always find the right things to say at the right time, at the right moment, and these clever people usually don't have a hard time with riddles. They don't have to rack their brain over a riddle. By the way, if you rack your brain, you think very hard about something. You think long and hard about something because you want to get to the bottom of that thing. You want to find an answer to a question that is plaguing you, a question that is not unlike a riddle.
Like a math question, for example. Gee, I'm racking my brain over this math puzzle or this math question. I just can't figure it out. So here, indeed, racking your brain is a good way to improve your thinking power. And here it says, however, you can get a lot more out of a riddle than a mental workout. So in this sentence, we've got the phrase to get more out of something or to get something out of something. That means you can gain something, you can get something from something, but there's more to a riddle than just that. You can get something else from just trying to have this mental workout.
There you go. And by the way, racking your brain, thinking about things, that's a mental workout. This isn't a joke here. We're not taking our brain to the gym and lifting weights with it or anything like that, but thinking, okay? Thinking is a mental workout. Remember, your brain is just like a muscle. If you use it, it will get stronger, okay? It'll get better. You'll think more clearly. Just like if you went to the gym and lifted weights, your muscles would get stronger as well. So this isn't a joke here. If you do think long and hard about a riddle, you are giving your brain a mental workout, I should say. Now, here we've got this word mental. First of all, the word mental, it's an adjective, and it means having to do with the mind and not the body. Okay, so if you go to the gym, you'll be working out your body. You'll be giving yourself a physical workout. If you go ahead and you think long and hard about something, though, you'll be giving your brain or your mind a mental workout. And I used that word physical there before. If you're talking about the body, you would use that adjective. Physical. If you're talking about your mind, your brain, your thinking prowess, you'd use the word mental.
And, of course, most times when we go to the gym, we are going to go there for a physical workout. So you don't need to say physical workout. You're just going to say, hey, I'm going to the gym for a workout. Or you could simply say, I'm going to the gym to work out. But here, a riddle is more than just a mental workout. By forcing you to see difficult problems from a fresh point of view, from a fresh perspective, riddles offer important life lessons too. Okay, so indeed you can learn some morals from riddles. Yes, they can give you a mental workout, but they can help you improve your life as well. You can get some new knowledge.
Now, these days, I hear this phrase all the time. Hey, you've got to think outside the box, okay? When people say, hey, you've got to think outside the box, they're saying you've got to think in a new way. You have to think in new and imaginative and creative ways. You have to think outside of the box, or you have to see things from a fresh point of view, okay? That's what we're saying here. And by the way, very often, once you finally do look at the riddle in the right way, everything snaps into focus and the answer should leap right out at you. So if you can learn to do that, you are going to become a really good problem solver. All that time you spent racking your brain over riddles will have paid off. And yes, you might have even learned some important life lessons too. Anyways, let's go ahead and start the lesson proper. Let's go ahead right now, right after this break, let's go ahead and take a look at a few brain teasers.
Imagine you're in a dark room. How do you get out? Stop imagining it. This seemingly impossible but actually quite simple riddle shows how so many of life's problems are self-created. All too often, we raise imaginary barriers for ourselves when faced with possible problems. But most of the time, all we have to do to make these barriers go away is stop worrying about them.
第二部分我们看到的单字是 imaginary， 这个形容词是想象的或是虚构的意思。例如 Growing up as a single child, Kate had a lot of imaginary friends when she was little. 身为独生女 Kate 小时候有很多虚构的幻想朋友。另外这个字去掉字尾 ry 后再加上名词字根 tion 就会变成名词 imagination， 指想象或是想象力。像是 Arnold uses his imagination to write books. Arnold 运用他的想象力撰写书籍。或者我们也可以说 It must have taken a lot of imagination to make such a strange film. 制作这么奇特的电影一定需要很多想象力。
Okay, so we're talking about riddles in today's program. Of course, brain teasers are things that exercise your mind. They give you a mental workout. So here's the first riddle for today. Okay, don't look at the answer there, okay? Imagine you're in a dark room. How do you get out? Interesting. So imagine that you're in a dark room and you can't find the door and maybe you don't know where the window is either. So, gee, what the heck are you going to do? What is the answer to this riddle? Are you going to call someone on your phone? Nope, you can't see the phone because it's dark. Gee, you are in a pickle. Just what the heck are you going to do?
So you're saying... you can't find the door, you can't find the window, maybe you can't find the light switch or a lamp like that. Wait a minute. These are all things that I'm imagining. I've got it, Roger. I think I know the answer. If I'm imagining all of these things like windows and stuff like that, maybe... everything is in my imagination. Maybe I just need to wake up and open my eyes. And yeah, apparently that is the answer here. Imagine you're in a dark room. How do you get out? Stop imagining it. So there you go. It was all in your head to begin with. You just had to look at it in that way, like I said before. Once you figure out how to take a fresh new look at that riddle, the answer should pop right out at you. Anyways, this seemingly impossible but actually quite simple riddle shows how so many of life's problems are self-created. By the way, earlier I talked about deep intelligence. Now, I was able to figure out this riddle. I was a little bit clever, but now our author is getting quite deep. I didn't even consider this, okay? Here, solving this riddle is more about being clever. Well, it's less about being clever, I should say, and more about realizing that very often a lot of our problems are just in our head and are self-created.
That's right. So we raise these imaginary barriers for ourselves. A barrier is like something we just can't get through. And we do this oftentimes to ourselves, and when faced with possible problems, that is what happens. So let's move on here. It says, but most of the time, all we have to do to make these barriers go away is stop worrying about them. I guess the lesson there in that sentence is quit worrying about things too much.
And here's this word barrier again, okay? Sometimes barriers are real things like walls and fences and things like that that get into your way. They're obstacles. Sometimes, though, barriers, they're not even real. They're not walls or fences or things like that. These things can be self-created barriers that allow you to get in your own way or which keep you from moving forward or progressing or doing something. Here's a good example sentence. We couldn't communicate because there was a language barrier between us. All right, folks, with that, it's time for us to take a break, but don't go away. When we come back, we'll be taking a look at riddle number 2.
Poor people have it. Rich people need it. It can make or break you. Hardship. Having hardships in life makes people stronger. Many people who are born poor go on to become very successful thanks to their ability to conquer hardships. However, those born rich often live a life without hardships. They can end up spoiled and unprepared for the problems of the world, a sure recipe for failure.
今天最后一个单字，我们看到的是动词 conquer， 它有克服或是征服的意思。例如 The only way to conquer your fear is to face it. 克服恐惧的唯一方法就是面对它。除此之外，还可以说 Victor wants to conquer his shyness so that he can have more friends. Victor 想要克服自己的害羞，以便拥有更多朋友。另外，如果我们无法克服的话，就等于我们屈服、投降了。动词 surrender, S-U-R-R-E-N-D-E-R 是 conquer 的反义词。来看个例句。After being on the run for nearly 2 weeks, the robber finally surrendered to the police. 在逃逸将近2周后，那名抢劫犯终于向警察自首了。
Okay, here's the next riddle for today. Poor people have it, rich people need it. It can make or break you. Okay, if it can make you, that means it can make you successful. It can make you rich. And if it breaks you, then it makes you go bankrupt. It makes you lose all your money. So at first I thought, well, maybe the answer is money. But poor people, of course, don't have money. And rich people have it, and they don't really need more of it, so it can't be money. Maybe it's diseases or something. Poor people are sick more often than rich people, but hey, sickness will not make or break you, so gee, I don't really know what the answer to this riddle is.
I don't either. Well, poor people have it, and I feel bad for them. Rich people need it. It can make or break you. It's not money like Roger said. I don't know. I'm going to go with you here. I don't think it's disease. That would be a very bad answer. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's pain and suffering or something like that. I don't know. I have no idea, Roger.
Well, we're going to spill the beans. We're going to let the cat out of the bag. Here's the answer. Hardship. And of course, hardship is severe suffering when you're trying to achieve a goal. Of course, poor people suffer a lot more hardship than rich people do. My goodness, rich people are just staying at home and they're driving around in really expensive cars. They've got servants. Everything's taken care of for them. But, poor people are struggling. They can't make enough money to buy food, and they're fighting disease and crime and things like that. So indeed, they've got lots of hardship.
So there you go. Poor people have hardship in droves, pain and suffering. And we're saying here that, hey, rich people need to taste some hardship now and again. Otherwise, their lives are just too easy, and that's not fair. You could say the poor young boy grew up and became successful despite the hardships of his life.
Yes, or I faced a lot of hardship when I was living in the poor part of town. Yes, it was a quite difficult time of life for me until, as it says here, many people who are born poor, if they start their lives off as being poor, later on, because of that hardship, a lot of them will become very successful, and that is because of, or is thanks to, their ability to conquer hardships. To conquer, to win over something. For example, when I was younger, of course, I had to fight hard to conquer my fear of snakes.
So here I guess I was just being mean to rich people, and I was being too nice to poor people. What they're saying here is that hardship is good for the poor because it helps them to conquer the bad stuff in their lives. Now, on the other hand, however, those born rich often live a life without hardships. And yeah, we're jealous because of that. We're jealous of rich people because of that. But Apparently being rich isn't all it's cracked up to be. Yes, rich people, can end up spoiled and unprepared for the problems of the world, a sure recipe for failure. So apparently rich people do need hardship. You just have to look at the riddle in the right way. Interesting. Anyways, we've got two things to explain before we take a break here. First of all, if a person ends up spoiled, they're kind of ruined and they're lacking in perspective. They've gotten so many things that they have no idea how good they actually have it.
Yep, they can end up spoiled and unprepared for the problems of the world, and they're unprepared for the future, and that is a sure recipe for failure. Of course, a recipe is a set of instructions on how to cook food, and so this just means you surely will have failure in your life if you're spoiled and perhaps if you haven't had any hardships in your life. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation for today. Here comes our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点，读到课文第二部分的最后一句。 But most of the time, all we have to do to make these barriers go away is stop worrying about them. 但多数时候，我们只需要停止担心这些障碍，就能摆脱它们了。首先要介绍的句型是 All that somebody have to do is 再加上不定词，那就表示说某人必须做的是什么什么，某人只需要做什么。那句型里面的 all 它是代名词，它后方的 that somebody have to do 是个关系子句，用来修饰先行词 all， 那这个 that 可以省略不用。要特别注意的是，这个主词 all 它必须视为单数，后面才会搭配单数动词 is。 All that somebody have to do is。 好，再来我们看到后面呢，它接了不定词，也就是 to 加原形动词来当主词补语。那请同学们特别注意，当 that 引导的关系子句中，动词有包含 do 的时候呢，句尾这个不定词的 to 通常会省略，像是 All you have to do is press the button， 你只需要按下这个按钮就可以了，所以 press the button 它前面就省略了 to。 再来看课文的句子， All we have to do to make these barriers go away is stop worrying about them。 其中这个We have to do to make these barriers go away 就是省略了 that 的关系子句，然后这部分用来形容它的先行词 all。 好，那么 be 动词 is 后面是主词补语，本来应该写作 to stop worrying about them， 然后它省略了 to， 所以你才会看到is 后面竟然直接接了原形动词 stop， 是因为它省略了 to。 好，再来呢，我们还可以用 all that somebody want to do is加上不定词来说某人想要做的是什么，某人只想要做什么，像是 All he wants to do is go home and sleep， 他唯一想做的事就是回家睡觉。好，我们再读到课文最后一句， They can end up spoiled and unprepared for the problems of the world, a sure recipe for failure。 他们也就是那些出身富贵的人，最后可能会被宠坏，而且对世上的问题毫无准备，这毫无疑问会造成失败。好，我们句子里面有一个 a recipe for failure， 好，这表示呢很可能会失败，失败的食谱。好，我们知道 recipe 它有食谱啊、烹饪配方的意思，那么 a recipe for something 则是表达很可能会怎么样，或者是造成什么什么的原因。在这个用法当中， recipe 它是指会产生某种特定结果的做事方法或是原因，像 a recipe for success 就是成功的秘诀， a recipe for disaster 这表示灾难的源头。举例来说Putting all your eggs in one basket is a recipe for disaster。 把所有的蛋都放在一个篮子里，这是用来比喻冒险的把所有资源啊或是投资等等放在同一个地方。那这句话我们就可以表达说，孤注一掷很可能会出错，会是灾难的源头，后患无穷。好，以上是今天的重点整理，接着我们来回顾今天的单字吧。
Mental. Although he was an adult, the man had the mental age of a child. Imaginary. When Dylan got older, he realized that the monster hiding under his bed was imaginary. Barrier. A steel barrier separated the crowd from the stage. Hardship. My brother faced many hardships before becoming the head of the company. Conquer. Mira conquered her fear of public speaking and gave a great speech. Spoil. Sally's grandparents spoiled her with candy and a trip to the park.
Okay, everyone. With that, today's article is now complete. But, as always, we sure hope that you guys have enjoyed reading along with us. Anyways, I'm Jeff.
I am Roger.
See you next time.